The story I'd like to share with you is from a book called A Year Full of Stories by Angela McAllister. It's called The Rabbit in the Moon. Now, long ago, there was a wise and gentle rabbit who lived in a wood at the foot of the mountain. Rabbit was kind and thoughtful. He always cared for everyone, even the tiniest beetle in the wood. The other animals loved to gather around to listen to his stories and learn his wise ways, especially his friends Monkey, Tiger, and Seal. One night, as the four friends sat under the starry sky, Rabbit looked up and smiled. "We've learned to be very happy together," he said. "But think how much more wonderful it would be if we could bring happiness to others." "How can we do that?" asked Monkey. Rabbit thought for a moment. "We should care for whoever comes to our wood by giving them what they need." "That's a good plan," they all agreed. Well, the next day, a poor man dressed in rags came to the wood. He was so thin, he was little more than skin and bone. Over his shoulder, he carried a sack. The man came to the river bank where the seal lived and asked for food. Seal swam off into the river and returned with a fish, which he gave to the man, and the man put it in his sack. Further down the track, the man met the tiger, "Roar!" and once more asked for food. "Roar!" Tiger tramped off to a village nearby and returned with a pot of milk curd. He gave it to the man, who put it in his sack. Then Monkey scampered along, as before. The man asked for food, so Monkey climbed up a tree and picked a bunch of sweet mangoes, and into the sack they went. Now Rabbit saw the hungry-looking man and thought, "Here's a chance to care for somebody's needs. I shall find food for him to eat." Rabbit bounded off in search of something delicious, but all he could collect was grass. "Even a hungry man won't eat grass," he thought sadly. "If I could bring him beans or rice." Then, as he thought about the things the man would eat, he suddenly realized there was something he could offer. Rabbit returned to the man, who was gathering sticks to make a fire, and watched as he unwrapped his bundle and pulled out a cooking pot, which he hung from a pole over the flames. Before long, the pot was bubbling, and the smell of fish cooking brought all the animals close by. Rabbit stepped forward. "I see you are hungry and need food," he said. "But I have no beans or rice to offer you. Instead, I'll offer myself, for I know a man will eat a rabbit from the pot." And with these words, he shook his fur to make sure there were no insects in his coat, and then he sprung forward into the cooking pot. But at once, the pot and the fire disappeared. To the rabbit's surprise, he landed not in boiling water, but in the arms of the man. The other animals watched in astonishment. "Gentle Rabbit," said the man, setting him down on the grass, "I'm not a hungry stranger. I am the Lord of heaven and the mountain above. I heard about your generosity and came to see if what I heard was true." "Oh, it is true, it is true." "Roar, it is true," all of his friends said. Then the rags fell away, and the Lord of the heaven above the mountain began to grow. And he grew, and he grew before their eyes until he was big enough to put his arms around the mountain and squeeze it, so that the water in the rocks flowed out. Then he dipped his finger into the rock water, reached up into the sky, and drew the figure of the rabbit onto the face of the moon. Now the world will remember the rabbit who wanted to bring happiness to others, said the Lord of heaven above the mountain. And if you look up at the moon on a dark night, you may see the rabbit for yourself. A beautiful story about a rabbit willing to give everything in service to others.